Hi, everybody. It's your friend Daniel Hutchins, and today we're talking about some more comic book universe from our friend CBR.com. So, today from CBR.com, we're doing another article discussion live stream here at the kitchen table, and we are going to be talking first about DC's Wonder Woman 2021 Annual Number 1, which is written by Michael Michael C. or Michael Conrad, and this was from 4 days ago. Okay, so between the release of the Midnighter 2021 annual and the highly anticipated Batgirl series debuting on December the 14th, it's been an impressively productive year for the writing team of Michael C. or Michael Conrad and Becky C. or Becky Cloonan. Their work on Wonder Woman stands as a remarkable contribution to the DC universe, and it's no surprise that this team has an artist, Andy McDonald, to create a Wonder Woman 2021 annual number 1. This action packed book, with potential to change the way one, centers around Diana's trip to Washington, D.C. Art Museum to see the famous Mascara history exhibit, but on her way she takes the detour to stop the bank robbery, which makes her late to meet with Etta Candy. Now, the Amazon decides to see this exhibit by herself. Unfortunately, before she has the time to enjoy the history of her people, Wonder Woman is approached by a mysterious character named Altoon. Now, Altoon, who claims to have information that challenges everything Diana thinks she knows about her homeland. Related to this article, Wonder Woman's unstoppable new enemy may be Diana's doomsday. But that is not what we're talking about. We're going to keep going. So Coonan and Conrad cover a lot of ground with Wonder Woman 2021 Annual One Number 1. Their careful pacing allows them to include the action-packed bank robbery sequence with the earth-shattering conversation turned confrontation, some quiet moments detailing Diana and Etta's relationship and friendship, but all without exhausting this reader. Now, it's a busy story, but it never risked becoming inaccessible. This museum is the perfect backdrop for the confrontation between Altoon and Diana, as they've discussed the painful nuances of history and who owns it. The contrast between Wonder Woman's confidence in dealing with bank robbers and her uncertainty in talking with Altoon makes for a fascinating tension that makes the book impossible to put down. Andy McDonald has also handled all the action of Wonder Woman 2021 Annual Number 1 perfectly, with his own fight scenes are easy to read and illustrate just how powerful Diana is. McDonald also handles the story's visual dense museum setting with same energy from the fight scenes. Again, he moves the reader's eyes across the pages with exciting detailed compositions that encourages the readers and audiences to linger over every panel. And at times, McDonald's art has struggled to capture characters' emotions. He draws faces as simply as he can and as possible, making characters' emotions hard to discern, detracting from the quality of Conrad and Clunan's writing and adding the awkwardness to conversation. Related to this article, Wonder Woman, most vicious movie villain, has one dream and it makes her even sadder. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about someone else. So almost every moment of Wonder Woman 2021 Annual Number 1 feels important, whether this hero is saving hostages or grappling new troubling information about her family history. Clunan and Conrad wrote this dense, easy to read story. McDonald's excellent compositions make up the occasional missteps to make this annual the exhilarating celebration of her character. Again, let me know what you guys thought about that book is. And if you read that book, let me know in the comments below. So we're going to keep going. Go to CBR.com exclusives. We're going to keep going because there's always fresh stuff here on CBR. Okay, because it's the friend we use for Comic Book Universe. Okay. Um, Now we're going to be talking about the Detective Comics 2021 Annual Number 1. Now, just like Wonder Woman, Batman has his own annual as well. So, Batman Detective Comics 2021 Annual Number 1 Comic Review. Again, okay, so after the earth shattering events of the Fear State, there's something refreshing about the format of Detective Comics 2021 Annual Number 1. This one shot prelude of the DC anticipated Shadows of the Bat story arcs, and writers and artists have crafted an entertaining, thought provoking comic around Gotham's mental health. Now, Detective Comics 2021 Annual begins when Bruce Wayne is a young boy walking the streets of Gotham with his mom and dad. Now, their stroll through the city is interrupted by madman Peter Faust, who throws himself through the window in blood transfusion clinics and attempts to attack the Wayne family. Years later, Batman and Nightwing followed the trails of this villain, known as the Meager Man, and grappled the city's inability to provide for mentally ill. Okay, so the latest article. Gotham sees Batman as something he's not, and that's a good thing. We're not talking about that. We're going to keep going. So, so Tamaki and Rosenberg have crafted an entertaining story that simultaneously sheds new light on Batman's childhood and brings attention to the lack of real world resources for people struggling with their mental health. Nightwing and Batman conversation forces the Dark Knight to confront his legacy of putting the criminally insane in an institution that lacks mental health resources. But this conversation about the justice system of mental health feels remarkably poignant, and it messages doesn't stand in the way of an exciting narrative that puts two DC heroes in manhunt. Tamaki and Rosenberg bounce back and forth between Bruce's past and present to give readers the insightful glimpse into Batman and the Meager Man's psyches. Okay, so Lapham is best known for his long-running crime fiction series Stray Bullets. Perfect artist for Detective Comic 2021 Annual Number 1. His art boils with complex and chaotic narratives down to the queer form. But again, his bold lines and dynamic compositions are the results of a singular aesthetic, and they evoke the personality of Neil Adams' Batman stories. Lapham's talents have especially apparent to the scenes featuring the Meager Man. He lovingly renders the villain costume of Bones to create a menacing, meager image. But just looking at him, it's clear that he represents a great amount of danger and pain. This thus also haunting image underscores the theme of Tamaki and Rosenberg's writing, establishes the makes for some thrilling comic book pages. Latest article, DC's Batman Secret Files, The Gardener Number 1 Comic Review. But we're not talking about that. We're going to keep going. So, the colorist Trish Mulvihill and Lee Lothridge have created two separate palettes for two timelines of this story. These flashbacks are bright and hopeful, whereas the present day is dimly lit labyrinth of shadows of literal buckets of blood. The contrast between these two timelines have helped to highlight the versatility of Lapham's style to represent the rose-colored lens through which Batman sees his childhood. It's easy to relate to cynicism when comparing the bright images of his parents with the grim faces of villains he fought. Again, Detective Comics 2021 Annual Number 1 tells exciting, surprising, thoughtful stories. Tamaki and Rosenberg lean in on some awesome, most outlandish, and deranged sides of Gotham City to discuss more contemporary ideas about the mental health and carceral justice in the story that feels timeless and urgently relevant. Lapham's art makes every page a joy to read, so you can pick up this annual, and it has plenty of things to offer to even the most casual Batman fans. Okay, so now we're going to just keep reading, and we're going to talk about the controversial Robin villain's dark Batman secret could change everything. Okay, so the rise of the demon in the Lazarus tournament has raised some questions in some heads about the true origins of the Lazarus pits and their relationship to these demons. This was 4 days ago. Warning, there are spoilers for Robin number 8 on sale now. In Robin number 8 by Joshua Williamson and others, the demon that mother's soul has been so tirelessly working to revive has finally risen. With his debut come some questions about true natures of the Lazarus Pit. They have also been a staple of Batman mythos, but their origin has always been surrounded with mystery. All but that is truly known is that you can restore a person's youth and bring him back to life. Given all that's occurred on this island, is it possible that this demon may be the source of Lazarus Pit, potentially changing the way the sites are viewed and used in the future? That's a good question. But related to this article, Batman's new nemesis embarrassed the Dark Knight like Joker never would. But we're not talking about that. We're going to keep going. So there has never been a concrete origin from the Lazarus Pit, but it's only been stated that Ra's al Ghul stumbled upon it several centuries ago. Even Damian Wayne has even assumed that Ra's al Ghul knew all the secrets before he's learned that Mother Soul, or Ra's al Ghul, or Ra's mother, or Damian's great grandmother, believes she's dead, and before Ra's has found the pit, clearly enough, but it's not the case. It seems to possess more advanced technology and knowledge of the pits. Again, knowing enough then use the Lazarus tournament to fuel the demon resurrections. It perhaps explains why Ra's al Ghul was so hesitant to deal with mysterious leaks that they've controlled. Again, where does this leave the demons, though? The Lazarus tournaments might be the answer, but competitors can die on an island but are revived not too long later. Again, Ra Zal Ghul has indicated these demons were harvesting strength from the many deaths from the island. Again, it's possible and noted that it's not the island, but the demon that's resurrecting them all, taking whatever is left from them who died on the island and restoring them to repeat the process until they are ready to wake up again. Related to this article, who is Robin's new murder king and why is he so adorable? Well, we're not talking about that. We're going to keep going. So, in this is the case, it's possible the key to the Lazarus Pit, ability to resurrect the dead, right from the start, was the pits did not grant youth and resurrection free of charge. Whenever the person used the pit, their sanity began to slip. The more the pit's used, the less sane the person becomes over time. If it if it is a give and take situation, given that if the demon is the source of Lazarus pits, connected to the countless locations around the world, it's responsible for resurrecting a huge amount of characters in DC Universe. This could be a creature that holds the power to life and death in his own hands. The Lazarus Pit has always been something mystical within Batman mythos. But again, being one of the consistently magical parts of the world, it was always assumed that there was always scientific explanations for it, despite the grandiosity and symbolic power that Ra's al Ghul has placed with it. Again, if the demon is responsible for the powers of the pits, then can it tie the Al Ghuls and the extension Robin, the magic more closely than ever has before? It's even possible that using the pit has somehow tied the user to the demons, perhaps becoming indebted to it as a gift from bestowed. But many questions still have to be answered. But whatever this demon is, it ties to the true origins of the pits. Again, let me know what you guys thought about that is. I think it's kind of interesting that there's this new supposed demon that's from the Lazarus pit. Again, let me know. I like to know what you guys thought about that is. So we're gonna keep going. Okay, so now we're talking about one of my favorite Spider-Mans ever. We're talking about Spider-Man 2099. Yes, Spider-Man 2099. Oscar Isaac has agreed to play Spider-Man 2099 under just one condition. We're going to talk about what that condition is. The writers of the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse has revealed Oscar Isaacs has a specific condition for reprising the role for Spider-Man 2099. Okay, the teaser trailers from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 has showed that Oscar Isaac's Spider-Man 2099 is going to return, but the actor has a condition for reprising this role. When asked about Isaac's take on Miguel O'Hara, aka the Spider-Man 2099, in Entertainment Weekly and Q&A and on Twitter, co-writers and producers Phil Lord and Christopher Millers has revealed his return comes with a single requirement. Oscar has a condition of taking the gig. Don't make it boring. He made a really complex character out of Miguel O'Hara. He's definitely not boring. So, again, I don't think it's going to be boring. I think it's going to be exciting. But that's a pretty easy condition to fill. Again, let me know your thoughts. But relate to Circle. Spider Man Into the Spider Verse sequel title indicates a third film. We're not talking about that right now. We're going to keep going. You can also check out the tweet from Entertainment Weekly. Again, Philip Lord and Chris Miller also have what Miles been up to since the first Spider Verse. He's been trying to step big shoes, realizing it's not easy to juggle family and grown as Spider Man. It's a lonely hidden truth about yourself from people you really love. Again, another Entertainment Weekly thread followed by Philip Lord and Chris Miller on Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac's Spider Man 2099 and back is back for Across the Spider Verse. But what can you tell us about the take of his character? He said the one condition is don't make it boring. It made a really complex character out of Miguel O'Hara, and he is not boring. Okay, so Isaac's version of the character first appeared during the post-credit scene from Into the Spider-Verse. O'Hara has also made a multiverse jump from Earth 67, where he proceeded to act as the classic Spider-Man pointed meme with Peter Parker from 1967's Spider-Man TV show. The first leaked footage shows that Spider-Man 2099 hopping between universe again, this time bringing some kind of struggle with Miles Morales. The movie is set to feature multiple variants of Spider Man, including new reported additions such as Issa Rae as Spider Woman. Now, the footage also confirmed the return of Shameik Moore's Miles Morales and Haley Steinfeld's Gwen Stacy. As part of their talk with Entertainment Weekly, the writer stated that Miles will reunite with old friends and meet a lot of new ones. But just how many characters are featured in the sequels is still unknown, especially since it's confirmed that a third Spider Verse installment is in development. Related to Sarkle, Marvel fans rip off Entertainment Weekly for crediting Stan Lee as Spider Man's sole creator. We already talked about that on one of my other videos, so you can check that out for yourself. I already talked about that, so check it out. So O'Hara first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man 365 before he has the solo series Spider-Man 2099, which has began in 1992. His character protects the future version of New York, known as Nueva York, which could be one of the locations he transports with Miles during the trailers. The first film involves various heroes being stripped from respective dimensions to Miles' universe. The sequel synopsis turns the tables by sending Miles in the multiverse alongside other Spider Man friends, and the writers discuss the inclusion of multiverse, saying, well, we're just getting started. In the first look, you get a taste of what we're going for, but every dimension looks and feels radically different from the others. They all look like they were drawn by different artists. Well, of course. Isaac will also be playing the Marvel superhero in Disney Plus series Moon Knight. The actors refer to Moon Knight as the biggest challenge of his career. He's committed to bringing his idea to the show, speaking with the president, Kevin Feige, and we told him, I'm going to come up with these big ideas. If you don't like them, that's fair, he explained. So, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 arrives in theaters in October the 7th of 2022. Make sure you mark your calendar October 7th, 2022. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. Again, Let me know what your guys' thought is. And so now we are going to keep going. We're going to be talking about Jared Leto transformation as Morbius. Okay, so Morbius. Now I know it's been a while since we talked about Morbius, but his film is coming up really soon. So Jared Leto's Morbius Living Vampire has new footage from films depicting the anti-hero's full violent transformation. You can check out trailers on YouTube too. Again, Sony Pictures has released Jared Leto's transformation scene from upcoming film Morbius. The exclusive 3-minute long scene, which debuted the CCXP Worlds on December the 4th, features Jared Leto as Morbius. His violent transformation to a sinister alter ego, the notorious villain from Spider Man. The spin off film is debuting on January the 28th of 2022. Related to this article, Morbius embraces Sony's Spider Man universe, but raises some more questions. Let me know what your guys' thought is if you think I should do that. Again, we're gonna keep going. So from Morbius, the movie, tweeted on Twitter, they said, "Is he here to save the world or destroy that?" So Morbius, in his sinister alter ego, is coming exclusively to movie theaters on January the 28th. You can even watch the Twitter exclusive scene on Twitter, followed by Morbius movie. You can see the scene there from there, and you can also see it on other platforms as well. But the film will follow Leto as Michael Morbius, the doctor who turns himself into a vampire after attempting to cure his own rare blood disease. Created by Roy Thomas and Jill Kane, the character has debuted in 1971 Spider Man number 101 as a villain for Spider Man, though over time he's become somewhat of an anti hero. So, the feature of Morbius, released in November, Leto has spoke out about and drew him to a character, but also teased the potential face-off with Morbius and Spider-Man. Morbius is a Marvel character who's been an important part of their universe, Leto said. He's brilliant. He's strong. He got unique powers, but his powers seem to be out of control. He stated that in the movie, he put this new Marvel character on the screen that's never seen before, and it'll be fun to see where it would go. There's a web of opportunity, and Leto's continued, I love the opportunity of doing something transformational. Again, it was very intense physical roles, and Morbius is the most frail and then also the most monstrous. Again, related to this article, Sony dates two mystery Marvel movies for 2023. Let me know if you want me to talk about that. But I'm going to keep going. So, Morbius was originally meant to hit theaters July 10th of 2020. Though, because of the release, it was repeatedly delayed nearly 2 years due to the ongoing coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. The films marked the third entry of Sony's Spider Man universe and the first of two being delayed with Venom and its sequel, Let There Be Carnage. The first trailer for Morbius was released nearly 2 years ago, which teased the possible crossover with MCU Spider Man, especially with the appearance of Michael Keaton's Adrian Toomes the Vulture. However, even Keaton himself doesn't fully understand the concept of the multiverse. So I'm nodding and I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? Ken explained in previous interviews. I go, uh-huh. And I'm thinking, you may as well be explaining quantum physics right now to me. But all I know is know my guy. I know the basics. They say, I don't know what you were talking about. Do you? I said no. I don't. No idea what you're talking about. Those are Keaton's words. So, directed by Daniel Espinosa, Morbius arrives on January the 28th of 2022. Again, that is coming up next month. So please mark your calendar. And if you want to see a Spider-Man spin-off movie in the Sony Marvel universe, let me know if you're seeing that movie next month. And you have a wonderful, 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 wonderful day. Again, I just figured I'd spin out a couple of more stuff for y'all. So we're already 25 minutes in this live stream. I want to try to make these live streams nice and quick for y'all. So, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. I'm probably going to make myself a sandwich pretty soon. I might just make a peanut butter jelly sandwich and I'm just going to chillax and I might do some stuff. So, yeah, chilling. So, again, stay tuned for more uploads that are going to be coming later. And again, I'll see you guys at another time. Bye.